Just letting you guys know you can listen to my No Bleeps podcast anywhere you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Sesh. Today's video is going to be about Gabbie Hanna, Jessi Smiles, the situation that is once again being brought up about Jessi Smiles' past, the SA with Curtis Lepore. If you guys are not comfortable with hearing about SA, please do not watch the rest of this video. Gabbie Hanna has continued to bring up old situations in connection to her series that she has been doing about why other people are at fault for ruining her reputation. The response each episode has been getting has led to more people being upset at her, and even worse, it's forced a lot of people to have to relive really hard times in their lives that should never have to be brought up again unless it is by themselves. Things that people don't really want to relive or have retold by someone else. This is the situation of what is basically happening throughout Gabbie's entire series. People have reacted to these videos that Gabbie has posted by saying Gabbie seems so focused on how she was wronged in these situations that she has no regard for how hurtful these videos might actually be for the people that she's discussing. And the response, the comments, everything on Twitter that people have been saying about Gabbie's more recent videos are not good at all. Definitely not the response I think that she had originally wanted, but I'm really not sure because some of the things that Gabbie is saying in these videos throughout the series is that she's just telling her side, and I don't know if Gabbie is just kind of like, I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say my piece, I'm gonna tell everything about my side, and however people react to it, that's how people are going to react to it. I don't know if she just really cares to say her side, and then whatever her Patreon thinks, that's what they think, and she's happy with that, or if she's really looking for the internet to be like, oh my gosh, Gabbie, we're so sorry, we love you so much, because honestly, the internet is not saying that. The people that she's talking about, nobody wants to apologize to her because of kind of the way that these videos are. A lot of people want to come back at her with a video and explain their side of it. And then it seems like Gabbie gets upset that people want to say their side. You know, if you're going to say something, people have a right to respond, and you can't get angry when people want to give a response because you brought it up. And a lot of people are kind of confused because Gabbie keeps saying that, you know, these things keep getting brought up and people keep talking about her, people keep talking about these situations. But like this Jessi situation in particular, Jessi is like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want you to talk about what happened to me. So why are you still talking about it? Why are you upset when you were the one that is bringing this up? Gabbie says she feels like Jessi is just like not letting her live down this entire thing that's happened between them. But honestly, the question that a lot of people are asking is who is really the one that's bringing it up? It's very clear that Gabbie has made multiple videos over the last couple of weeks about people that honestly haven't talked about her in a very long time. Yet it's all these other people's fault and not hers. So in terms of this Jessi Smiles situation and what's kind of been said and what is going on currently, because we have talked about this before, this isn't the first time that Gabbie and Jessi have made videos about each other on YouTube discussing this particular situation. And so if you guys do not know what has kind of gone down between the two of them, I do have videos on kind of what's happened in the past before on my channel. There's plenty of other channels that have discussed it, including Jessi, because at the end of the day, this is her story to tell. And honestly, nobody else's. This is something that happened to her. And the person that is involved in the situation that happened to her, Curtis Lepore, literally pled guilty to the crime that he committed. So I really don't think that there should be any if and or buts about what happened to Jessi, because that simply is just it. He pled guilty. In terms of Gabbie and Jessi, the thing that Gabbie is most pressed about is that Gabbie feels as though Jessi has painted her out to be this person that was still friends with Curtis after finding out what happened to Jessi, and has completely ruined her reputation online all these years, and says that Jessi continues to bring this up and continues to talk bad about Gabbie. The best way that I can tell you guys about the friendship is by puzzling together all the things that I have heard in all of these videos. And it just seems to be that when the reportings of the crime were made public in the TMZ article, Gabbie and Jessi were not friends, but Gabbie had tweeted out things in reply to Curtis Lepore that were not good, did not make Gabbie look good. It was not a good response to the article. Jessi said that when Gabbie and her did become friends later on, Gabbie apologized for these tweets and things that she had said, but Jessi felt like the apology kind of was thrown out the window or didn't mean anything because later on in the friendship, Gabbie had denied tweeting or saying any of those things ever. That's to the best of my understanding of the situation, and so that is why there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a lot of receipts that have come out on both ends, a lot of text messages, a lot of tweets. There's a whole lot of voice memos, a lot of voice recordings. I mean, it's a lot, you guys. That's kind of the core of the situation. Gabbie has been trying to defend herself, saying that they were always on Jessi's side and things like that, demanding an apology from Jessi. Every time this situation is brought up, Jessi has to relive exactly what happened to her, and that's just horrific. And this time around, it all started with a BuzzFeed article. There was a BuzzFeed article that had been written about Gabbie. This BuzzFeed article that came out on June 4th was titled, "Why is everyone so mad at Gabbie Hanna?" This article just went through a bunch of different controversies and a lot of different situations that Gabbie Hanna has gotten in where people were upset at her, where she has received mass backlash from the public eye. And there was a chunk of this article that happened to be about Jessi. Gabbie was asked about Jessi, and Gabbie commented on Jessi, and honestly, this all could have been avoided by simply just declining to comment on Jessi. Jessi later reacted to seeing this article by saying, "I was quiet after Gabbie harassed me online last summer. I was quiet when she went on Drama Alert and spoke about me, and when she started teasing an expose docu-series on all of her quote enemies. 4 days ago, Gabbie's BuzzFeed article came out. I will no longer be quiet." Later, she shared a series of videos that exposed parts of a 3-hour phone call she had with Gabbie Hanna last summer. These videos painted Gabbie in a very bad light because it was made clear that Jessi's situation seemed, at the end of the day, in Gabbie's eyes, something that Gabbie was truly suffering from, when in reality, this is Jessi's story. As a reaction to Jessi releasing the phone call, Gabbie posted a video titled, "About the 3-hour Jessi Smiles phone call." Gabbie had stated in this video that she had a 2-part series coming about Jessi that was connected to the series that she had been doing where she calls out Trisha Paytas, Joey Graceffa, Daniel Prada, Drama Channel, saying all these people have wronged her, and says that she deserves an apology. This 2-part series, she said, was going to include parts of the phone call that Jessi had released, which tells everyone she has no right to be upset at Jessi for releasing parts of the phone call because she was going to do it anyways. She also says that she is tired and upset that she has to be asked by BuzzFeed about Jessi Smiles, and that she is still having to relive the situation with Jessi, when it's just you could simply just decline to answer a question from a reporter. You don't actually have to answer everything that is asked of you. When celebrities or anybody is interviewed by someone, you or your publicist can say, these questions are off the table. And simple as that, the reporter cannot ask you about them. And they will just say in the article, "We asked about Jessi Smiles," and Gabbie Hanna politely declined to comment. But that didn't happen. Gabbie answered the question, and that is what upset Jessi and caused her to come out with these phone calls that happened with her and Gabbie, and it did not paint Gabbie in a good light. The fact that Gabbie keeps bringing up something that happened to Jessi, something that is extremely hard to hear. A lot of people have been bringing up that Jessi Smiles is currently pregnant with her rainbow baby, and this is not something that she should have to be experiencing. This situation going on with Gabbie, this type of stress, hearing and reliving the experiences that happened to her in the past while she's pregnant right now, absolutely not. This is something that people are not standing for, and it's upsetting people even more knowing that Gabbie is bringing all this up at a time like this. Gabbie, in her video, proceeds to say that she posted the entire 3-hour long phone call to YouTube for everybody to hear. And honestly, her releasing this, I don't know what the purpose of it was, because it's really hard to sit through. It's really hard to listen to. The language used, the discussions just should not have happened. She even accuses Jessi of fake crying for sympathy. I don't understand that. This is an extremely difficult subject to talk about. Of course, somebody's going to be emotional talking about this, and it's extremely frustrating. A lot of emotions are involved in a discussion like this, and the comments on these videos are begging Gabbie to stop this series and stop talking about really hard and difficult situations in other people's lives. In this video, she says a lot of things, you guys, that just should not have been said, honestly, for her own sake. Things like she heard out Curtis Lepore's side of the story, even though he literally pled guilty to a crime. She said she wanted to hear him out and he's a human. And Gabbie says Jessi is her abuser. And that statement alone, it's just like, these things are not okay. I really do think that Gabbie feels like she deserves an apology. I really do feel like Gabbie feels like she was so wrong. But I do think that this is just not the way to go about it. Gabbie is upset with the way that people have been seeing her and that a lot of people have portrayed her. These videos are just not helping. Her talking about Jessi in the way that she isn't going to win people over again. It's not going to make people feel bad for her. It's making people at the end of the day feel bad for Jessi. So I don't know if the goal at the end of the day was just for Gabbie to vent or what, but it certainly isn't getting people to love her. Honestly, people are concerned about her. Now, as a response to this video and the 3-hour phone call being released, Jessi Smiles posted a video titled "Gabbie Hanna Will Never Stop." This is an hour-long response in which Jessi basically goes minute by minute commenting on what Gabbie is saying in the video, explaining things in detail, showing receipts, and explaining just how painful it truly is to not only have this be dragged on, but to also hear the things Gabbie is saying in this video, such as her saying she heard out Curtis's side, and also detailing what happened to Jessi. This is Jessi's story, and I will not be detailing or explaining how she talked about this because it's her story to tell and should not be misrepresented by anybody. So please, you guys, I encourage you guys to go watch Jessi's video. Gabbie, though, has been pretty MIA since all of this, and it's unclear if she will continue her series. The backlash that has come from her most recent video has been pretty intense, and I think she truly needs to just take time and process what has happened and honestly never speak about these things on social media again. I think Gabbie is really set on being right and getting these apologies, but at the end of the day, these people do not want to give them to Gabbie. So I think it's hard for her to move on from that or accept that, but bringing these topics up continuously is not going to get her any closer to any of those things. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about this entire situation. It's a really, really hard one to process, but let me know what your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.